The focus on Wall Street this week is the Fed. Policymakers are opening their two-day meeting tomorrow. Victoria Fernandez, Managing Director at Crossmark Global Investments, joins us now from Houston. Good to see you, Victoria.
Good morning. Good to speak with you.
There's little chance the Fed hikes rates at this meeting, but what do you expect them to say about inflation and perhaps that contributing to future rate hikes?
I think that's absolutely the key, and that's what we're focusing on. The inflation component has really been low. We're still running around a 1.7%, so below that 2% headline that they would like to have. And so we're going to be watching to see how they categorize inflation. Are they still seeing it as temporary, or are they seeing that there's more structural problems maybe within the labor force that's holding wages down and how that's contributing to inflation? We'll also be watching the dot plots that come out. That's another good telltale sign from them to see where they're looking on the long end of the curve for rates and what they're going to do in the future there.
But what about the impact of back-to-back hurricanes? That has to affect inflation, or do you think the Fed will dismiss that as being a temporary factor?
You know, it's funny. The markets have seemed to kind of let that go a little bit. We have seen some earnings revisions where those have come down a little bit because of the hit that we're going to see from the hurricanes. However, I think it's interesting. If you look, there's two sectors that really have been struggling lately, both the autos and housing, and those actually might be two areas that have some benefit from the hurricanes. I know in Houston here alone, we had over 500,000 automobiles that were destroyed. So there's a lot of tailwinds going for both housing and for automobiles that might come from the hurricanes.
Yeah, that's actually an excellent point. You know, the car's in the junkyard, you got to get a new one. That will boost the sector, at least temporarily. And by the way, we do hope you and your family are okay at this point, seeing as you are in Houston.
Yes, we are.
I'm looking at these markets overall, and I'm looking at the levels. The Dow was up 2.2% last week, best week of the entire year. The S&P touched and closed at 2,500. Is there still room to buy? What are you telling clients right now? What's looking good to you?
When we look historically at what the markets have done, usually that September, October time period during the year is really when you get a pullback. So we wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a pullback over the next month or two. But then that December to springtime is really when you start to see the rally come back into play. And if you look at the technicals right now, you're still seeing that there's some room in this bull market. So look for a little pullback coming over the next month or so, but I still think that there's some room to run for the bull market.
All right. Yeah, September is supposed to be the worst month of the year, but not this September, at least not yet. Victoria,
right.
Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.